Hello, this is the 13.4 Initiatives and Strategies for Increasing Participation by Aaron Sparrowhawk. Obviously there's the assessment criteria there, so we're just going to jump straight in to Scenario 1. So Scenario 1, John, age 13, lives in Hastings, relatively low, activities around there, doesn't really enjoy school team sports, doesn't really involve being a part of a team, he's more introvert and on his own. Loves wakeboarding, went once on holiday with the family. Family can't afford to do annual holidays again, but hasn't been able to afford it at home either, so he really likes the sport, but he just can't really get involved, can't find a way due to locations and stuff like that. So we're looking at barriers and culture for John. So firstly, John lives in Hastings where there isn't many clubs or activities that cater to his sport. He loves wakeboarding, however his location is partially preventing him from taking part in the sport. As John really doesn't enjoy team sport, as he's introvert, it makes it hard for him to compete with others and joining games where he'll need teammates, making it hard for sport active to cater for him. Money is also a barrier for John, as his family aren't wealthy and will struggle to provide him lessons and classes for his activity, and this could affect him emotionally due to the lack of money, and this could actually really upset him and affect him at school and just personally himself. This could really upset him. Because of his age, he's very dependent on his parents, supplying him with the money to fund the opportunities. His family aren't in a great position in terms of wealth, as they are a low socio-economical family with little money and can't really afford annual holidays or the wakeboarding sessions, as we said before. So Sport of 8. Sport of 8 is based around Olympic Legacy, which was first developed in 2011 through £56 million of funded into the company. The company strives to give people a chance to do the sports they love at quite a low cost for a short term, 6 to 8 weeks. They've tried creating sporting habits through these young people to cling on to, and since it's been launched, over 400,000 semi-sport kids have gone through and now are playing sport consistently. The programme is for 14 to 25-year-olds, as we said before, for 6 to 8 weeks, and obviously it can be free, or it will be a very low cost if it does charge anything. And it caters to a wide range of activities, including judo, golf, tennis, athletics, parkour, free running, and wakeboarding. So now looking at that, we're going to go into the potential limitations or benefits of this particular scheme. Benefits, it's really low cost. It only costs £1-2 at the most. So this is a real big advantage for people like John, who don't have a lot of money. Their family are quite low socio-economical, but they can do it. It works for them. It caters to all kinds of sports. We've said before, that's a real big benefit. So for people like John, who kind of do an outside the box type of sport, it really helps them, because it's hard to find places that cater for those types of sports, like judo, wakeboarding, things like that. It can be quite hard, and it's also far spread. There are so many places that the Sportive 8 do these types of schemes and stuff like that. They're very far spread across the UK. So those are the benefits, really. The limitations, there's one really big one. It's only for 6 to 8 weeks. That's really short. So for some people that really, really love the sport and really want to get involved, it's really hard for them, because it's only 6 to 8 weeks. So they almost cling on to it and really love it, and then it's taken away from them, which is a big disadvantage. And at times it is too far for people to travel, depending on their location. Obviously, we said before, it's far spread, and it is, but it does depend on the location some of the time. So that's scenario 1 done. The potential limitations and benefits and scenarios, cultures and barriers. So scenario 2, Louise is a talented footballer. She's completed a CSL and loves coaching others. So obviously we can tell that she's definitely pursuing a coaching aspect. Her male PE teacher doesn't encourage her to coach the younger male or female school teams and gives the role to boys in the team. So, scenario, barriers and culture. So this scenario is quite awkward to pick out because it's only giving us a small chunk of information, but you can definitely see the barriers for her is the male PE teacher, or the male coach, doesn't want her coaching at all. She's being very discouraged, and that could affect her emotionally, because that could just totally put her off and change her path totally. So that can really affect her. For culture, perception by others, obviously Um, it's not for everybody, but for some, they do feel, oh, generically, oh, you're a female, you can't do as well as sport or coach this, that, or the other. So for perception by others can be a problem, and also hierarchy at the school. As we said before, the PE teacher favours the males, which is again links back to perception by others. So next one we're going to do what is Project 500. So Project 500 aims to help imbalance of female to male coaches by recruiting, developing, and deploying and all this 500 female coaches, roughly. Research from Sports Coach UK shows that only 30% of sports coaches are female. Of the newly qualified yearly of each qualified sports, only 17 are women. So really, if you're going to qualify 100 coaches in any sport in any area of UK and England, only 17% of them are going to be female. So Project 500 was actually launched on International Women's Day in 2013, and has gone from strength to strength ever since. It's focused on inspiring coaching in females, and once you are coaching and supporting, and once you are coaching, supporting to do so. The REACH campaign was inspired by Project 500, which has provided valuable research and insight to help shape it, and since launch in March 2013, and it started in south of East England. That's where it's based around. So now then, evaluation of the Project 500. So benefits: it gets more women to coaching, proven. Just the amount of people that are turning up and doing this stuff is incredible, and it's actually increased it to 30% from 17. So that's actually a really big jump. Different types of sports. It's not just one. It's not just football. It's rugby. It's basketball. It's things like that. They're just keen to get females into, even if it's any type of sport, individual, team, whatever it is. They want females to be involved because it's not just a male thing. I think a lot of perception is, oh, coach male. I think they want to change that. It's had a huge amount of success. Obviously, I've seen before. It's increased the numbers dramatically. So potential limitations only done in South England and Midlands. So that's a problem if you're living up north into Scotland and places like that, where you really want to be a female coach. But Project 500, if it expands, it probably would be a lot better. And as I said before, hasn't expanded, so it's still quite. Even though it's really successful, it's only on a smaller location and area. And finally, only women. That's kind of loosely put there, simply because of course it's working, and the whole thing is for women, and that's what it's based around, and that's what it's trying to do. But there are some males that still finding it hard to coach and stuff like that. Maybe if they catered for both, but then again, obviously the numbers would be different and stuff. So that's Project 500. Finally, Scenario 3. Sarah has mobility impairment. She does not participate with her class and PE lessons as much as she'd like to. She wants to get more involved, but she can't. She's determined and competitive by nature, but is unable to compete in the school's netball team. Obviously, we can see and pick out here that netball team, she wants to be part of that. That'll probably be her main sport. So, the barriers in culture. Obviously, not as physically active as others. That's due to the classes. She doesn't participate as much as the other people, so that could put her at a disadvantage. Not playing main sport, that's another disadvantage. She wants to be part of the netball team, but she can't, which again could put her down at some stage. Competitive drive can't be used due to the nature of the competition. So in PE classes, obviously, they want to keep it fun and active, but if you have a competitive drive in nature, it's kind of, you're not there as much for fun. You want to win. So they kind of conflict each other. So culture, perception by others, that's a big one. And that could affect her emotionally, simply because some people think that, physical impairment, that stops you from doing sport at all. It doesn't. But some people may think that, and some people do think that, and that could really affect her emotionally on how, she continues forward. So, what are the school sport games? So pretty much school sport games, the Sussex School Games in a mini Olympics and Paralympics, based kind of, that's the scheme of things, giving Sussex school children a chance to participate in competitive school sport across a county level, across multiple sport disciplines. It's organised by LOC, which stands for the Local Organising Committee, chaired by a head teacher and representatives from local authorities and like national governing bodies. And pretty much what it does is it's on 4 levels. So it starts with intra-school competition and participation. So that's against your, local schools, stuff like that. I think that's more based actually in the school. And then level 2 is when you're playing against other schools and that are around your area. And county competition is when, you're playing like the top teams in Sussex, for example. And that's kind of a festival of sport. And level 4 is the elite. Only the top teams make it. So that's pretty big jumps in terms of from 2 is just a couple of school teams against each other to county. You've gone from playing against 3 or 4 teams to the top 50. In the county, you're playing against the top schools at 50. So that's a big jump. So evaluation of the school sport games allows people to compete. It's great. It's getting people involved. It's starting to show kids what it's like to participate and compete against other teams, stuff like that. Something that they probably won't get in PE lessons. Involves impaired participants, and that's great for people like the scenario. Like in the scenario, Sarah, people who want to compete. This is great for them because, it puts them in into that competitive nature as well. So this will be great for Sarah because she can use her competitive nature against other teams and stuff like that. And they're getting involved. It's great for them. And a variety of games, they've got netball, basketball, cricket, hockey, all sorts of things. It caters for everything, which is great if you're dominant in one sport. That allows your team to strive in that area where it might not so if you're only competing against one team. So limitations. For some, it will only be levels 1 and 2. So some primary schools aren't sportsy based. They don't have the best qualified PE teachers, so they might struggle. So they might go to 1 and 2 and then be like, oh, we're out. There's no more participation for us. So that can affect. Also, if you go there, obviously some teams and some schools have quite far to travel to these county things, because for Sussex, it's actually, they connect Brighton and Hove and do it at Brighton. So they'll have quite a far way to travel, and then to go to the level 2 and 3, and then be absolutely, beaten by 50, 60 points in a basketball game or something like that, for example, or 5-0, 6-0. It's really disheartening. Who wants to do that again? It's just a disheartening thing. So I think maybe that can be changed in some way.